face of a footballing genius. A genius who lit up Manchester United for 11 years. Nobody epitomised the swinging 60s quite like George Best. A boyish charm with a footballing talent that made him into a legend. Georgie was simply the best.
Best, oh magnificent by Best!
Best again! A glorious goal by Best! What a magnificent goal by Best! Best going in on it, Best! Oh, beautifully taken by Best!
Now Best! Best! It's there by Sadler!
To Best. Look at this for a little bit of acceleration. Oh, what a beautiful little chance to go!
This is Best. Wriggling out space. What a fine save! What a fine shot! Georgie Best! Best! What a beautiful goal! Georgie Best! Best! Still Best! Oh, magnificent shot by Best against the crossbar! George Best! And his brilliant Best!
It was fun to me. Football was never a job, and I never played for money. I played because I loved it, because it was. I consider myself more of an entertainer than a footballer.
The face of the footballing 90s is being hailed as Georgie's natural successor. Ryan Giggs is soccer's new wonder boy, with the same golden touch and the same talent for goals and entertainment. The hero of yesteryear, the giant of tomorrow.
Giggs. Still Giggs. Brilliantly done.
This is Giggs. And that's absolutely brilliant. And Ryan Giggs confirms his ever-growing reputation. Oh, and it's Giggs! What a lovely bit of play by Ryan Giggs. Delightful stuff that. Giggs. Oh, Giggs! He's done it again. Giggs versus Poynton. Ryan Giggs! What a special goal that is. It's Giggs!
The young man is an undoubted star.
He is a different era, but George Best, were you nervous of meeting him?
Yeah, I was. It was like when I first met Brian Robson and Mark Hughes. You know, you'd only seen them on the television, and you heard a lot of them, and there's such legends really, that you're bound to be nervous when you meet them. It was the same with George.
Well, when did they start with he's the next George Best comparisons? When did you first hear that?
It was when I was first in the team, really. You know, I was a youngster, just like George was, playing number 11, you know, a winger. All the things that George was, really, when he was at Manchester United. So I think there's bound to be comparisons, but George was his own player and I'm my own player.
Are there similarities between your styles?
I think there are, yeah, you know. We both like to take on people, score goals and generally entertain the crowd, really. But it is an honour to be compared with such a great player as George Best.
What have you seen of him?
Just what I've seen on television, really, and I've seen his videos. That's about it, really. Are
you better than him?
I don't know about that. A long way away from that, I think.
Remember your first day at the cliff? Must have been a nerve-wracking experience for you.
Yeah, what they did when I came over originally with another lad called Eric McMorty from Belfast, who went on to play at Middlesbrough. What they did to make us feel at home, both of us, you know, coming from Belfast. At the time they had quite a few Irish players playing at the club, and of course our hero, well, everyone's hero in those days was Harry Gregg, the goalkeeper. Yeah. So they brought us and introduced us to all the Irish connection in the club, just to try and make us feel at home. So that was the first sort of memory, really, of meeting Harry Gregg, who to us looked like a giant. Yeah. Two skinny little kids from Belfast, and that was their way of sort of trying to break us in. It didn't work. We went back home the following day.
That's right, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, we stayed. We'd never been away from home, and I think what put us up was watching some of the lads playing in those days, how good they were, I think we figured that we had no chance of making it, so we went back. Luckily, I come back a couple of weeks later.
Did they make you feel welcome as an apprentice? Were you made to feel somebody, or were you very much left to your own devices?
Yeah, but it was difficult because there was so many. I mean, there had so many apprentices plus amateurs and kids coming and going. You know, you'd see a kid there for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden, one day he wasn't there anymore. He had been sent off, packed off home. So there were thousands and thousands who'd never made it.
Jimmy McGregor. It's immaculate, isn't it? Immaculate. Right, let's get out. It's now 20 years since George Best was training day to day at Manchester United, but time hasn't tempered the warmth of the welcome he always receives, testimony to his enduring popularity.
Hi. Okay.
Nice to see you. Very good. Come to your Georgie Best, have a drink. Your mate.
Hello, my
Georgie! Nice to see you.
Right.
Lovely, of course I can. I'll give him anything.
Oh, I know, there you are, see.
I'll give him
There you
anything
are.
I've got.
There you are.
Nice cup of tea, Dad.
That's the best opera you've had today, huh?
This has really changed. When I first came here, it was a hut. And the pitch is still the same. A lot of First Division clubs would be happy with this as a regular ground.
You didn't really suffer from injury, did you?
I think you find with a lot of great athletes, and Ryan Giggs has it. I've always believed that the greatest asset a great athlete has is balance. And if you've got that balance, I think you tend to stay clear of injuries. And he looks like the type of player. I hope I don't bring any bad luck on him, but he looks the type. He's got that great balance, and he rides tackles. And consequently, he doesn't get a lot of injuries. So I didn't spend too much time in places like this.
There were a few hard men knocking around in your day, though, weren't there?
Oh, yeah, Tupper Harris and Tommy Smith and Norman Hunter. I mean, there was a few got stuck in, but luckily, the only injury I ever had was really the one that most players suffered from. I still do. It was cartilage, and that was the only thing. But luckily, not many serious. And also another thing about it is like the weight room. We'd never heard of weights in my day. You never did.
It's changed,
You
hasn't
never
it,
did
really?
weights, and now they've got a fully equipped gym. But that's one of the big things that has changed in football. I mean, just looking at the restaurant in there, when pre-game meals and stuff like that. We used to go off to a golf club for a pre-match meal, and in those days, every footballer had a steak for a pre-match meal, which is probably the worst thing you can eat because you don't digest it properly. I mean, my pre-game meal was a couple of sliced bananas and a bit of cornfills.
Ahead of your time in a way, because it's the Gordon Strachan thing now.
Well,
isn't it?
that was what I always had. It's just that because it filled me up, but it felt light. So it was.
He's a terrible singer, isn't
Must be Alex another 3 points.
He's 9 gigs, yeah. Is he George like Alex?
No, I mean, in many ways, the elasticity they have, the balance. These are gifts that people are born with. Once George and Ryan had that.
I was just saying that that's the one thing great athletes have. I think
Yes,
balance,
balance.
and they don't get hurt.
It separates them, yeah.
They ride tackles, and he's got that. And so that one thing he did yesterday
On the corner
flag. I mean, it was pure magic.
Just watch his feet if you can. I mean, he's so quick. Look at that. That's breathtaking.
I was worth the mission in itself.
It was, yeah. You walk a million miles to see just that one little pace. Brilliant. Now, if you ask him how he did it, he wouldn't be able to tell you because it's just so natural, and that's what he does, and he does it week in, week out.
More so, why did he do it?
Tight, 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 tight. Tight.
This is where Ryan Giggs learned his football. Dean's Youth Club, a stone's throw from his home. His natural talent was allowed to blossom alongside hundreds of other young hopefuls. Ryan had just moved from Cardiff when Dean's asked him to join. Today he still goes back to see friends and to help encourage another generation of youngsters, intent on becoming the next Ryan Giggs.
I was playing for my school, junior school, Grosvenor Road. And after the game, Dennis Schofield, who's the manager at Dean's, asked me if I'd like to come along and play for him. So I wasn't with any other team at the time, so I said, yeah, why not? So I went along and trained with the lads and played a few games.
Okay.
I played a game on the Sunday, got beat 9-1. And yeah, says, yeah, I'll play for you. I went from there, really.
Oi! You're not here to run the 100 yards, right? You're here to use a bit of skill. Now let's use a bit of skill. Just take your time and try these little things as you're going through.
Are you a good goal scorer then?
I scored a few.
Quick?
Quickish.
Always on the left wing, or where did you play?
Left wing, just stood out on the line. That's it.
Shouted
Just
for the
got
ball.
it and ran. Yeah.
It's like now, isn't it?
Kicked it and run, yeah.
Straight line, then you know who's behind you. Straight line, this line's the worst, straight line.
Were you that much better than everybody else at that age, or were you just one of the pack?
One of the pack, really. There was a lot of good players around 11 who weren't good players at 15, and vice versa. But there was a lot of good players around then.
Go! Get him! Go on! Go on, Ryan! Yes!
I told him when he was 10-year-old, I said, one day, Ryan, you'll play for England. I didn't know he was all Welsh then, by the way. He was 13, and he won the Isle of Wight Trophy for the best player on the island that year. And we played one match on the Isle of Wight, and everybody, there was about 7 matches going on the fields that day, and everybody walked across from the matches to watch Ryan play.
Where'd you get it from? Where'd you get the skill from? Where does it come from? Is it your father was a great rugby league player, wasn't he? Is it from him?
I don't know, both from Mum and my dad were sporty people. My dad played rugby for Swinton, and he was a really good rugby player. Also, Mum played quite a bit of sport, so a bit of both, really, I think.
They say of your father he was very quick. Is that where your speeds come from, maybe, do you think?
Yeah, well, he was quick, so perhaps he hasn't inherited his speed.
Did you see him play?
Yeah, I used to go and watch him every Sunday at Swinton, and he was really good player.
Had a bit of style about him, did he?
Yeah, he was different. He was like he'd be in the game 1 minute and then out of it the next game, but he could win a game for you, like that.
Bit like who, Ryan?
I don't know.
Giggs has always had the ability to win a game by himself, always had what you might call natural talent, a bit like George. At the age of 14, he shone for Salford boys at Anfield, setting up the winning goal. Pace and skill that had clubs clamouring for a signature.
You were on Manchester City's books, but Manchester United got you. How?
Well, I'd been with Manchester City for 3 years, and it came to my 14th birthday. That's when you can sign schoolboy forms and apprenticeship forms. And, well, no one asked me really to sign for Manchester City. And then along comes the manager, and he just asked me if you'd sign for Manchester United, which you don't turn that sort of...
So Alex Ferguson actually came to your house and said, knocked on the door.
Yeah.
Come on, tell me about it. What happened?
Well, I'd only been down for trials one Christmas and I loved it. But I didn't really expect him to, you know, come down and ask me. But he just turned up at my house and just asked, you know, would you sign? So I was delighted and I signed.
A very hard man to turn down, Alex Ferguson, and what a bit of business.
Up steps Ryan Giggs, and look at that for precision. Keelan gets in, Robson gets it away, here's Giggs. Hughes up ahead of him, some terrific movement by both sides. And Hughes, the flag stays down. Mark Hughes now for Manchester United, a goal! Allister knocking it into McClare, the little touch for Giggs, he's away again. Little ball in play there for McClare again! A goal for Manchester United! Brian McClare, made by Ryan Giggs.
Sharp, that's nice from him, Cantona. And it's measured, into the lead!
Well, the Norwich City players are furious. They're down at the linesman in this near side, asking whether Ryan Giggs was offside. He certainly didn't think so. But when he got through, you don't expect Ryan Giggs to miss, and he didn't.
Giggs is away here. This could be two. It is. Ryan Giggs and Manchester United are in the box seat in a big way here now.
what coolness and composure from the young man here. This one's just Route 1, isn't it? But when you've got the pace of Ryan Giggs, you've always got a chance beyond central defenders, and he finishes it beautifully. Darren Peacock gets sucked forward first of all. He spins on him immediately, Giggs. That gives him the space he needs, and he's finish emphatic.
6 men in the wall. It's Giggs, and it's a brilliant goal. The players in the wall look back and ask how. Those in the Stratford end will be able to tell them. Superb strike.
This is Giggs, and that's absolutely brilliant. And Ryan Giggs confirms his ever-growing reputation. On the half hour, Manchester United make the breakthrough in this FA Cup tie, and it's a goal which will be shown over and over again as the 19-year-old picks his spot on the run and fires a beautiful left foot shot beyond Alan Kelly. McClare got the ball forward, but look how quickly Giggs found the space away from Beasley, and what a finish.
It's like a mini trying to catch a Porsche, and here comes Hughes, and that's the Rolls Royce waiting in the middle.
I don't think George is like Giggs. I think players have different styles. Even great players have different styles. It's like talking about Matthews and Finney. They're not alike, really. Great talents, but they're not alike. Not alike. I don't think so. No, they are themselves. Good players are themselves, and George was himself. And Ryan is himself.
How good was this fella, Jim? How good was this fella?
George? I'm always worried about talking about people who I played against. Yeah. Very good. I don't think it needs me to say that. I think if you asked any player of my generation, I think George had a talent, really. But you can't say second to none. There have always been good players about, but he was a great footballer. Probably the great thing about him was I always thought was his balance and the fact that he could score goals.
Good header by Moore for Best. And a great goal! The free kick from Buchan, the header by Moore, and Best with time to draw a bead and hit that with deadly precision.
Greenoff back for Bernard. An aerial ball skills, well read by Fitzpatrick. Charlton taking over, Best breaking, and in a great position to break too. This looks bad. What a great goal, George Best, and referee John Gow clapping his hands together and saying well done too. What a beautiful goal. The exact sort of goal that you expect George Best to score. Almost looked as though it was coming from the tiny brute. Magnificent goal by Best.
Sadler is up there at the near post. Good back header. And Best. Sadler again has gone up. This is the situation which made the Manchester United goal. I don't think we can expect them to work the same move. Tommy Taylor's header. George Best! This incredible ability that George Best has to turn. Mr. Kirkpatrick has given the corner and it's been taken. George Best sold two dummies and now has made a chance for himself. His hat-trick!
Charlton. And on the far side, Crera. Look at that for a pass as well. What a superb pass by Charlton. Oh, not such a good one by Paddy Crera, but in fact Bobby Charlton made something of it. Law lifting himself again. Dowling, Best, and there it is! George Best. 3-2, and Manchester United's comeback is complete. Well, when it was knotted down, John Jackson had no chance because Best was ready to pounce on it. and put United into the lead. And now Willie Morgan. Crerand and Kidd. Bobby Charlton. Oh, a good ball inside the full-back to Best. Oh, it's there! It probably went in off number 5, Hunt. But it was made by that superb ball inside the full-back by Bobby Charlton. Onto Best and into the net. Crerand. Burns making a run. Now Hurd. Good dummy, has Best up in front of him. This is Best. Wriggling out space. What a fine save! What a fine shot. Georgie Best. Number 7, the incredible George Best scores his 17th goal of the season. Willie Morgan being chased by Burrows. Fitzpatrick helping out. Now Edwards. Morgan, Crerand outside him on the right. Doesn't need to use him. Aston trying to set it up for Best. Oh, yes, indeed. How about that fella? Isn't that the most beautiful footballer you've ever seen? Didn't he keep his cool so beautifully there? Georgie Best then getting a crowd applause from his own players as he scores the second goal.
Did you have an inner belief, though, a confidence that you were a bit special, or that you were decent even?
Not really. I was quite happy with, because when I played in the A and B teams at the Cliff, I always scored lots of goals. But it wasn't until I actually got in the first team, and then I realised, I think, because I found it so easy. I found it just as easy, well, maybe easier sometimes, than actually playing in the A and B teams, where you had kids your same age kicking lumps at you. Yeah. And then I realised, as soon as after my first game, when I found it so much easier. And I was doing basically the same things that I'd been doing when I was kicking a ball around the streets of Belfast, and just going out and enjoying myself. Basically, one week I was playing in the junior teams.
Yeah.
And then I was playing in front of 60,000 people at Old Trafford.
Did you get any inkling about it, though? Did Matt say, "Hey, you're doing well, and you'll do for me," or are you suddenly just thrown in?
Oh, he actually. We came in from training one day, and I used to always look, see with the first team, the team sheet was up on the thing, and I looked up, and I was done as a substitute. I thought one of the lads was taking a mickey at me and stuck my name up, and but what he did, Sir Matt, old Shrudy, he had actually decided I was playing anyway, but because a lad called Ian Moyer, the winger, was supposed to be playing, but apparently he was injured, and they knew he wasn't going to play, but they didn't tell me, and we went off to the golf club to have our lunch, and on the way back in the coach, thinking I was going to be sitting on the bench just enjoying the game, the boss came up to him and he said, "You're playing today," and that was it. So I didn't really have time to get nervous.
You're suddenly in the first team at 17, and people are going, Ryan Giggs. It happened really quickly, didn't it? Did it surprise you?
Yeah, it did surprise me, because I'd only played a few games in the reserves, and I'd expected a few more games in the reserves and then gradually get into it. But I made my debut when I was 17. It was somewhat of a shock, really.
Did you get any inkling? What did the manager say to you?
Nothing really. He just says, just play as you have been doing in the youth team and in the reserves. Just, play your own game, really.
Are you the nervous type? Were you nervous before that debut?
Yeah, I was nervous on my debut, and but I think because I started at such an early age, and I've gradually got into it, nerves haven't become a part of it, really.
He has been compared to the young George Best, as much in build, I think, as much as anything, but it was Nobby Stiles and Brian Kidd on the coaching staff here who made the comparison. Although Manchester United have rather tried to play it down since, Alex Ferguson has said that he's the most outstanding talent he's ever worked with of his age.
You don't strike me as the nervous type. Are you quite level-headed? You don't suffer from nerves during matches or in the build-up to matches?
No, I think the way to do it is be level-headed, and, you know, just take every game as it comes.
But when you've got 50,000 or 40,000 people, like you said in the Welsh game, do you get emotional at all? Do you get wound up?
Yeah, when the crowd, you know, start cheering your name and start cheering the team on, then you get wound up.
It must be more than that. Every kid in the country wants that to happen to them. What's it like when they're chanting Ryan Giggs? And
it's obviously good, and, you know, you want to do your best for the fans, and it lifts you somewhat. But as you say, you try and concentrate on the game.
Obviously, you were a marked man. Didn't anybody try and do you, as it were, so to speak?
Oh yeah, I mean you got clattered. I mean you're going to take a mickey out of people like Chopper Harris and Tommy Smith. You're going to expect you're going to get a smack. But again, I think you find with if you can look after yourself, you know, and if you're aware that they're going to try and do you, you survive.
Yeah.
You know, players like and Giggs, he's got that as well. He just wants to get on with it. I mean, and it's in a way, I'm sure he would probably think the same. It's a compliment to you if someone wants to try and kick you. I mean, because it means they're not as good as you.
Yeah. Did you have right back saying to you, you know, slow down, will you, or keep still, or? No,
the nice thing is nowadays when you meet them, I mean. Graham Williams, I made my debut against a guy called Graham Williams, played for West Brom. This was my first game, and also my international debut. In Swansea, I played against him as well. And I bumped into him a few years after it finished. And he actually stopped me and he said, "Best," he said, "come here," he said, "I want to see what you look like."
You're running past a full-back, leaving him for dead. What do they say to you? Do they get annoyed with you? Do they say anything to you?
Yeah, you get the two kinds, really. You get the ones who get mad, and you get the ones, you know, have a joke with you and say, you know, oh, slow down, you know, it's hot like. But generally you can have a joke with them about it, unless you're really taking the mick and they're not too happy. But generally, if they're playing well and you're playing well, you can generally have a joke, and they try and, you know, put you off your game. You
love doing that, don't you, taking the mick, though? Occasionally?
Occasionally, yeah.
Like what, slipping it through the legs and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, the defenders ain't very happy if you put it through the legs. But you've got to do it now and again, haven't you?
What do you make of Alex Ferguson, the way he's been with Ryan Giggs? Do you applaud it? Do you agree with it? Do you think he's done a good job with him?
I think he's done great, yeah. I think he's handled the situation perfectly, because this kid's come in, he's, you know, he really is a superstar. The same thing, but virtually overnight. I mean, he's still only 19, and he's got the world at his feet, and he's, I think he's done a great job with him. And he's doing it sensibly as well, because now he's letting them. Well, it's up to Ryan if he wants to talk, if he doesn't. But he's letting them do a little bit more and getting them, easing them into it, whereas he could have been flung in at the deep end, and some people just can't handle it. I think he can, because he's a very sensible lad. Yeah.
I think the manager's done a brilliant job, as I'm concerned, keeping him away from the press. And what he's done is just let me concentrate on my football, really, which I think has worked, and kept me away from the press. And I'm sure gradually it's up to the manager, but gradually I'll talk more to the press. It's up to him, really.
Because everybody made such a big thing of it, didn't they? Ryan Giggs won't speak. What were you thinking at that time? Did you want to talk to everybody and say, "Hey, this is me here"?
Not really, no. I think I leave the talking to the older, experienced players, and just let me concentrate on football, really. I think that's the only way to go about it.
What about now? Are you the nervous type because presumably you've had not much experience of talking to people like myself? Does it worry you, or are you looking forward to getting into this side of things?
It doesn't worry me really, but it can be very daunting, you know, when our pressmen are asking you different questions and coming at you different angles. But we've had a bit of training at United, all the young players. So we've been taught to get used to it, really.
I suppose you've got no choice, have you?
No, not really, no.
What about when things happen like you're photographed on holiday in Greece? Does that annoy you, upset you?
Yeah, it does, really, you know. You've had a hard, long season, and you've won the championship. You just want to get away from it, really, and you want to go 2 weeks and have holiday with your friends and just be a normal teenager. And then you find out that you're splashed across the front of the papers, you know. it's not very nice.
What about you in your days? Was the press attention as great, or do you wish Matt had said, right, you're not doing this and you're not doing that, or was it completely different eras we're talking about?
Well, I think it was different when I started playing because, because of the timing. I mean, it really was the swinging 60s, and I mean it's a much used term, but it really was. I mean, long hair. They'd never seen a footballer with long hair, but I was the same as all the kids my age. I grew my hair long, and I was into music, and fashions were changing, and all my pals were exactly the same. The only difference was that on a Saturday, my pals were paying money to come and watch me do something that they dreamt of doing. So the media attention was phenomenal. I mean, I was more in pub magazines than I was in newspapers, because it was just that the timing was. I mean, it was a great era to be around as well. Did you love particularly that? The football? The football was fabulous. It really was.
Did you love that, being in the pop magazines and being in the papers?
No, I didn't. It was nice at first. I was like any kid. I loved seeing my name on the back pages. If I was playing well or scored a goal. But all the other stuff, I could have done without. But it was part and parcel. You had to.
Was there any way they could have protected you? Was there any way at all somebody could have grabbed hold of you and said, right, nobody touches him, nobody speaks to him, or was it not the situation at the time?
It wasn't. No, I think that was different as well in those days. The media. I mean, we actually, the press were actually friends. For a long time, they became the enemy, really. And we used to go out with the press lads and have a beer with them, and we all got in trouble in one way or another. There was fights and incidents, but no one ever wrote about them. Now, of course, you can't sneeze without it being.
Well, I think it was Ryan Giggs in the summer, wasn't it? There was that picture of him on holiday. It's the first of its type. There's a picture of him sitting on a beach in Greece chatting to some girl in a long lens kind of job, which I think gave him a bit of a fright, actually. And it's the first of its type. But I mean, you had to live with that all the time, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was 24 hours a day. I mean, I couldn't move. I mean, when I built my house out in Cheshire, I mean, it was like I was a prisoner in my own home. I mean, it became that bad. And I used to have to call if I was going out. I mean, the press were parked outside. I don't know what they were expecting, but just for anything, any snippets they could get. And if I wanted to go out, I used to have to call a friend of mine, a local policeman, who'd come and he used to drive in front of me at 30 mile an hour, and I'd shoot off in the E-type, so nobody could pass him. So I didn't work, because they always found me anyway.
That's hard to cope with, isn't it? It's like a goldfish bowl the whole time, no matter who you are.
Well, it is, and particularly because, which is why I say Alex Ferguson's done a great job with Giggsy, because he has tried to protect him. And I think it's very important.
George Best wasn't protected, he was glorified. A footballer in fashion with an image that said success and style. George had a modelling contract with Great Universal Stores. What he wore off the pitch, almost as important as what he did on it. Ask Ryan Giggs for a weakness and he'll say clothes. Fashion's a passion that he takes very seriously. He knows his Armanis from his Gucci's. He spends money making sure he looks right. He also harbours an ambition to appear on a catwalk. Maybe that's for the future. Right now, Ryan Giggs is Vogue.
I take care of what I buy fashion-wise, and generally make an attempt to look good, really.
When are you going to be a model, Ryan?
I'll get my football career after the start first.
Because Eric Cantona's been on the catwalk, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He did some modelling, I think in Paris for Paco Rabanne on the catwalk, so wouldn't mind doing a bit of that.
You're better looking than him, aren't you?
I don't know about that.
Right, somebody gives you £1,000 in the shop now. Let's have a look. What are you going to buy? Come on, show me.
For these prices, I don't know what I can buy, but I don't know really. For the summer, buy a few Valentino t-shirts and use Aviatic shorts or something. And
you're baffling me with signs. You know all the names, don't you?
Yeah, maybe one of these suits. You know, just plain navy suit with a flash tie, maybe something. No, this is flash. This is flash. I don't know. Yeah, so that's nice. That.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that more the scene? I mean, I think the photograph that made most headlines was the one with that well, black and white it was, wasn't it? That jacket.
Yeah. Got a bit of stick for that, but yeah, I like to wear flash things. You know, individualist things really.
You spend a lot of money on clothes?
Yeah. Tend to spend most of my money on clothes really, shopping. You know, flash jackets and that.
What about this for the European away games? Hey? Give it a try. It's one of those Kaluzi ones, you know that?
I if we get a Russian team.
Yeah.
I got an hat to go with it.
Front page news, something George knows all about. The similarities are uncanny, style with both men in whatever they do.
All right. Okay, yeah, come in.
Yes.
This man, George Best, is today back in the side, having missed 5 games during his 4-match suspension, and will obviously be anxious to turn on something a bit special this afternoon for this enormous crowd to appreciate. Parent, good ball to Kidd. Morgan's in the centre, Charlton's coming through, Best is there, and Best! Now Rankmore for Northampton. Well cut out by Sadler. Parent, and George Best through, that run into his path beautifully. Book is committed and it's a goal! Charlton, through to Kidd. Best is in the middle and onside. Morgan is coming to bring support. Kidd. Best! His hat-trick! No! Now! Brian Kidd. Best waiting hopefully in the middle again. Cut out by Brooks, but straight back to Kidd. Best! It's in! "16 minutes into the second half, and George Best gets Manchester United's and his own 4th goal. 4-0 Manchester United lead. Back header, Kidd! Number 5 from Brian Kidd. Burns quickly in the game and putting Best through, and here goes Best. It must be his 5th surely. Yes, he's rolled it in! This incredible player, his 5th goal of this game, his 19th of the season. Francis Burns, his first touch of the ball, strokes a beautiful through pass, and George Best does the rest. Nice ball from Best to Burns. Morgan here with a chance for another one. Saved, but it's scored now by Brian Kidd. Brian Kidd second. Burns to Best. 10 minutes left. This is Clark. Now, McNeil, and he's got one! Nobody will grudge Northampton their goal, or indeed McNeil. Edwards coming to challenge Felton. Kiernan and Kieran in again. To Best, here he goes! And George Best sets a club scoring record, 6 goals in a match.
We used to try and make the goalkeepers make their decision first. I mean, I always figure if you get them out of the way, it's easier. If he's on the deck, he ain't going to save it. I scored the 6th, and I think there was still about 20 minutes to go. And I ended up playing left back. Just, I didn't want to score anymore.
Large is there! Frank Large gets a second for...
You better ask Giggsy because I've no idea.
Left here?
Yeah.
Left
How long have you been here?
About 4 years.
Yeah?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. I've just bought a house down the road.
Have you?
More quiet.
It's a bit like yours in the old days. It's like an architect designing it, isn't it? Sort of, it's just a plot of land at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I did the same when I built mine. Just bought the land and then I made the mistake of letting the architect do it all. Ended up a nightmare. Yeah. But I bought the plot of land and I gave him a couple of things that I wanted, and I said, I wanted a snooker table and
the toilet and the
sunken bath and all that sort of rubbish, and I just let him get on with it. I don't think some of the neighbours weren't too happy with it. But I mean, it really was. It was a disaster. I mean, I dreaded going home, so I got rid of it after about a year.
Didn't you have any say in it at all while he was doing it? Didn't you say, hang on a minute?
No. I had a lovely thing, I had a local school teacher came to see me once, and said to me, Mr. Best, have you noticed anything about your fish pond? I said, yeah. I said, all my fish keep disappearing. And they said, yeah, the kids from school, when I was training, they were coming round and nicking them and they're selling them at school. He wasn't that bothered about it, he just wanted to know if they were telling the truth or they were really my goldfish. But it was a nightmare. They used to come Sundays, have picnics on the lawns and all sorts. It was a nightmare. So I went back to the digs, went back to Mrs. Fuller.
I suppose that's a good thing about you've never had to have digs, have you really, Ryan?
No, we moved up here 10 years ago, so I've always been with Mum.
Who does the cooking and the washing? Does your mum make you do your washing? Do you do your own ironing? I hope you do some work around the house.
I do my own ironing, that's why.
What about the cooking?
Oh no, don't touch it.
It's great, and you don't realise, when you're at a club, you're spoiled. You don't do anything, do you? When you're travelling, everything's taken care of, and all the arrangements. You only get so lazy.
Well, after training, we have the meals at the cliff are brilliant.
Yeah.
So
I was just saying that when we were there. I mean, it's changed. I mean, when we trained, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
I mean, a brick bath, freezing cold. You used to come in after training, have a quick dip.
Tell you what, though, it can get, I hesitate to say boring, but once you finish training, what do you do?
Just go home and relax, really. That's all you can do. Play pool, go shopping, that's about it, really.
That was a problem, I think, with a lot of the kids when I was playing. It's probably the same today, because you didn't train, apart from pre-season, you didn't train in the afternoons. A few kids, I went back most afternoons, but the free time was the hardest, what to do. And we did the same. We played, it was either snooker, at the time Old Trafford did a bowling alley, that was our sort of hangout.
Yeah.
But the free time, you had so much of it, didn't you?
Are you a golfer, George?
No, I never get into it. Don't like parting with a ball. I like Giggsy.
Old Trafford is the stage for Ryan these days. For George, a chance to meet old friends.
How are you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, very well. Smashing. How are you, Ryan?
No, right.
Enjoyed that little surprise today.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible, wasn't it? Yeah.
Remind you of someone. See you, man.
See you later. All right.
All right, love. Thanks. Hello, Mr.
Okay. Hello, my darling.
I've seen you somewhere before, like yesterday.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Mwah.
Okay, all right. Boss. How are you? We were just talking about you. We've just been talking. Said nice things.
Nice thing.
Of course,
That's good.
Do the lads eat here now?
Yeah, we eat here, yeah.
Yeah, we used to go to a local golf club. Go there about 12 o'clock, have a light meal, a couple of games of snooker, and then head back here. Get back here about 2 for the games. And then I used to downstairs. I used to have a little coffee bar. I used to stand there with my pals until about 2:45.
Did you?
And the boss used to come looking for me. 2:45. Where is he? Where is he? Come in, just put my gear on, sling it on, and go out there.
Yeah.
I mean, in those days there was no warm-ups.
No.
You went on the pitch 5 minutes before the game, and you had a couple of shots, and that was it.
Medium well.
Please.
Cheers.
They'll always say, though, that it's rose-coloured spectacles. They were better players then, and I mean, is it, or were they better players, better teams around?
Well, again, I don't like comparison stuff. But I've always believed that great players could play at any period of time. And I mean, people ask me, would I fit in today? Could I play today? I think I could because I always played a free role. I wouldn't change. That's the way I'd do it. Still.
What about this 60s thing? I mean, it was rammed down your throat, so it has been for so long, hasn't it? Especially when you missed out on the title 2 years ago, didn't you? Did that get to you when they were saying, "Oh, you've not won it for 25 years" or 20 years?
Yeah, I don't think it helped. It just added to the pressure, really. Whereas people should be encouraging you. You know, you do it next year. Whereas they were just saying, "Oh, they've done it again. They've not won it again." I think us winning it last year's just the pressure's just gone now.
Do you know anything,
football more?
Do you know anything about these 60s players, George and Dennis? Or, I mean, I know you know about them. Have you seen any of them or from that era?
Just on videos, yeah. I like watching football videos, you know, the old teams and that.
What does Brian Kidd say to you when he's?
Well, Kiddo gives me videos of goals he used to score and all that.
Must be a short video.
No, but Kiddo gives me like videos of centre forwards, you know, saying, you know, you should be doing that, you should be doing this. So, which is good, like, because I think by watching the football videos you can learn things.
Who do you study? You study this man?
Yeah. Mainly, you know, centre forwards and wingers, just with the finishing, really. I think I've got to add that to my game, really, and get that over with, and then be okay.
I think it's a great way of doing it as well. If you know, because I used to do the same thing. Obviously, there weren't that many videos around, but going to watch great players as well, and seeing when you see, you know, an artist at work. I mean, I used to love it when I was a kid when I first came here. Real Madrid were the great side. I mean, that's unbelievable players, and to watch them here. I used to watch people like Puskas and Hinto, Di Stefano, kicking in the things they were doing. Kicking in. I was a 15-year-old kid from Belfast, seeing these players, and I remember Puskas doing something, and I thought, I've got to learn to do that. And he hit a ball and made it spin back to him, and I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
And of course, the next morning I was trying to, and that's you know, the same thing. If you've seen people in the same way heading, because I was small, you know, so and I decided to improve my heading. And when you watch players, great players, you know, Dennis was brilliant in the air. And see, you have to, you know, so when you see great players like that, you tend to sort of mimic them and try and improve you, which is the way it should be.
Who were your heroes? Di Stefano, I know, was a big hero of yours.
Yeah.
Who domestically? Anybody you?
Well, the greatest finisher I've ever seen. Well, two. I played with one who's now a great pal, and that's Dennis. He was spectacular, but I suppose the greatest finisher and the number of goals was Jimmy Greaves. I mean, he really was. It was like an art form when Greaves scored. Some of the, I mean, people think he was all tap-ins, you know, 5-6 yards, but he scored a goal here one year. And he picked it up in his own half and beat about 6 players and rounded the kit, and it was just, I can still see him drifting past people. He was brilliant. Yeah. But Di Stefano was the most complete I ever saw. And Pele, I was fortunate enough to play with and against him. And he was pure magic. He really was. But I think all round Di Stefano was a mess.
What about you, Ryan? Who are your heroes? You play with most of yours, don't you?
I play with. Rushy and Sparky, my heroes.
Two different players.
Yeah. when I was young, when I was living in Wales, they were like the main people. Rushy and Sparker, because I supported United, Mark Hughes really, but also Ian Rush, the way he finished, scored the goals.
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he?
And to play with him is just brilliant.
Similar sort of situation, isn't it, really? I mean, because Ryan's got in the team so young, as I did, you end up playing with people, you know, you've only read about and watched in awe, and all of a sudden, at 17, you're playing alongside them.
What is it like, that sensation of actually either running out at Old Trafford or scoring a goal at Old Trafford, or being able to do things that other players can't do at Old Trafford? It must be an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I can remember yesterday, as I was walking out the tunnel and looking up at the crowd, it was just, you can't really beat it. And scoring in front of them, there's no better feeling. No better feeling.
You're scoring, I suppose, in front of your friends as well, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But I suppose that's why you say sometimes when footballers do finish, it's hard to replace that, isn't it?
And it's almost impossible to replace. Giggsy says you can't describe the feeling. I tried once to talk about my first game coming out, and there were 54,000 here, and we played West Brom, and I was 17, just past my 17th birthday, and it was in those days the tunnel was the halfway line, and you sort of at the top, and I used to like to come out sort of halfway down the lineup. And of course, when they see the first player, the fans on the opposite side see you, and they start, and it just gets louder. And trying to describe it, it's like sitting in front of a radio with a roar and just turning it louder and louder. And by the time you get to the place is just, it's deafening.
What's happening to you inside? What's going on? Were you the nervous type? You must have had butterflies then.
I never had, ever. And yet other players, different players handle it differently. I don't know what Ryan's like before the game, but I used to sit down and read the match programme or a paper or whatever, and go and have a cup of tea with my pals and go in 10 minutes before the kick-off and get changed. Other players were actually ill before a game because, you know, they were so uptight about it. They used to go in and be actually violently sick before they went out.
I think the good thing is as well, me and George, we entered the team at a young age, whereas some players who come from other clubs halfway through their career get overawed by the field. You know, they played at lesser clubs, whereas we've been brought up in the surroundings of Old Trafford. That's why I always thought, you know, I was playing here when I was in the youth team, and then when you go into the first team, it's just the same feeling, really.
George was saying before that what he finds, or he'd think going to bed at night, I'm going to try this, or I'm going to not so much take the mickey, or I'm going to. Is that what you're thinking as well? A sort of place of entertainment, if you like.
Yeah, you know, you don't want the crowd have come along, paid good money, you know, to watch you, so you want to entertain them, and you know, a few trick, and you know, if you're winning, then fair enough, you know, you can try and nutmeg a player, try and, you know, throw a few dummies or something, throw a few dummies, but just to get the crowd on the side and back into it, really.
There's nothing better. I mean, there again, because of the similarities and the winning habit, it's great when you can do that. When you're out there and you're playing with confidence and the team are winning, it's lovely to be able to try things like that. I even did it when I played at Fulham with Rodney Marsh, and he's the same as me. We used to, we were tackling each other for a bit of to make people laugh.
And our best. Hurdled beautifully over Tyler. Took it off Rodney Marsh. Marsh coming back to tackle him. Best. That's the best. Oh my goodness, he hit the post. Best. Oh, what a ball there by Best to Marsh. And a beautiful save by Charlton, and he very nearly lost it. Marsh jumping all over Burrows. Another smile. And they're cooking up something. Well, the goalie will want a clear view of this. You can take my word for it. Best and Marsh will be cooking up something, and it almost came off in an unexpected way. Lobbed up by Best, hit by Marsh. Marsh there to collect. Well, he wrong for them all there. And a lovely ball for Best. Now can he do the same? Onto the right foot, Mitchell on the far post, Marsh with the header.
There aren't too many around, are there, that have been excited to sort of the footballing public like yourself? And
yeah, there's a lot of teams that, you know, that just the winning counts, and it doesn't matter how they went about it. As long as they won, you know, we've won the game, we've got the 3 points. Whereas I think here, United, you know, players like Eric, Lee Sharp, Mark Hughes, they try and entertain the crowd. Try a few tricks. If they don't come off, they don't come off. But I think the crowd appreciate, you know, that you're trying to entertain them.
And now Lee Sharp. Cantona making the early run. Here he is! Lovely goal! Lovely goal!
Giggs, Nicol hesitated. Oh, Mark Hughes! A fantastic finish for Manchester United.
Cantona. Oh, look at that pass. Oh, it's brilliant!
Great pass, great volley, great goal. Lee Sharp scores a quite stunning goal. Hughes with the vital kick, it's there.
And here's Giggs over the goalkeeper. Cantona!
And you won't part this Red Sea of celebration.
Sharp pinching it back from Dixon. It's a beauty! It's raining goals at Highbury.
Hughes, yes! Lovely goal.
Oh, it's just teed up for Cantona.
Oh! A real cracker from Cantona.
Giggs has carried on with his run. Chance here for Manchester United. And still could be a goal. And it is for Lee Sharp. Lee Sharp marks his return to the side with a goal. There's Hughes. That's a fine try. It's a fabulous goal for Manchester United. And that may well mean the match.
Does Alex Ferguson say entertain, or does he say win?
Well, he's, you know, do it in the right places, but if it comes off, then it's brilliant.
Was Matt like that? So Matt?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, there are times to do it and times to try it. I mean, if you're getting hammered 3-0 by somebody away from home with 5 minutes to do it, you don't start taking the mick out of the opposition. But it's trying to get that blend, if you can get that blend. But entertainment is so important. I mean, Ron said they're paying good money. These are the people that pay your wages. And if you can entertain them and make them laugh and send them away happy, that's what it's all about. If you can't play here, you can't play anywhere. Even when it's empty, it's got an atmosphere. It's just the place is just buzzing. I remember when I left United. I remember the last game, sitting up in the stand afterwards and just looking out and sort of thinking of all the great nights and great games we had here. And of course, it's all back again. And I mean, I was here for the last game of last season when they won it, and it was like putting the clock back. So, it's a special place. You know. And even the opposition love coming here to play. You know, 'cause it lifts them. Don't usually get too much when they get here, but it's a special club, that's for sure. And to be part of it is you know, we're two lucky men.
Yeah.
You know, to be part of it. And I still feel part of it, even though I'm not playing. You know.
Can you hear what Alex Ferguson's shouting to you from the line? I think everybody else can. What about you?
Depends. Sometimes you can hear him, but you won't look at him.
Yeah, turn your back.
Yeah.
We used to do that as well. Yeah.
Where did Sir Matt sit? What was he shouting from the line?
Oh, he was actually very calm. Jimmy Murphy was the hard man. He was the shouter. Yeah, but the boss seemed to take it all in his stride. I suppose inwardly he wasn't, but Fergie a little bit more animated, isn't he?
What do you do? Turn a deaf, do you?
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah.
It's changed since you.
Yeah, it seems weird to see all the seats here. Some of them all standing up. Yeah. Certainly hasn't changed the atmosphere, has it?
No.
It's funny when they talked about all-seater. You know, a lot of people thought it was going to change it, but it's not.
No. Yesterday was a good atmosphere.
I think for sure if you're smacking them in here, they ain't going to be sitting down for long if you're screaming in the back of the net.
There's nothing worse than going to a place like Wimbledon where there's no atmosphere.
Yeah. But it was lovely when I first played here. The most important thing was to win the toss.
Yeah.
So you played it this way the second half.
Yeah.
The number of times they lifted us, it's just phenomenal.
Moore trying his luck on the right, but with no more success. Best scooping it up for Moore.
Willie Morgan. Morgan with another chance. And having two chances there and not really making the most of either of them. Best. Still Best. Oh, magnificent shot by Best against the crossbar. What magnificent skills to produce a shot like that from a situation as close as that was. George Best at his brilliant best.
Just under a quarter of an hour to go. Manchester United leading 2-0. And that's a beautiful ball from Best to Morgan. And Morgan's got a real chance here. And he's made it!
Bobby Charlton. Best off in chase. Can he give Simpson the slip? A shot and a goal! A mistake by Webster. Goal by Best. Kemba, Payne, and Best once more bursting on that scene and played there nicely by Craren for Best to hammer on and Jackson, and it's there! Oh, a mistake by John Jackson, and Best has scored again. Aston. Kidd looking for it and getting it. Morgan wanting it on the right. Best in the middle again. McClintock shadowing him. Now Best! Best! It's there by Sadler! Sadler putting it home. Made for him unmistakably by Best.
Dowling to Bobby Charlton. Best free on the left. Here he is, put in by a good pass from Charlton. McElroy steps over it and Kidd scores. No trouble.
When did he start going to watch Manchester United?
When he was about 10, 11. He'd always watched them on the television, he'd always liked them. And the stars of the past, obviously. But when he was about 10, 11, he started going to watch them.
He used to go and stand on the Stretford end, did he?
Yeah.
Was it always going to be Manchester United? Were they always his team?
Yeah. Yeah, always.
Does he help you around the house?
No. No. Not at all.
Does he not cook or wash up?
No. No. Doesn't make his bed. Doesn't bring his washing downstairs to be washed. Doesn't do any of them things.
Do you do it all for him?
I do. He's a normal 19-year-old.
Right, get the tea on. Come
He has quite a lot of parking tickets, I must add.
Why?
Because he can't park in a car park because it takes him 3 hours to get to the shop. So he tends to park right outside and then hands me a pile of parking tickets. Mum, sort them out.
Does he pay for his keep here?
He does.
How much does he pay you?
Am I allowed to say that, Ryan?
Yes, you are. He's nodding his head here. Well, he's not. How much does he pay you?
It's going up, I believe, as soon as he's got a rise. Is it going up? He pays £40 a week.
£40 a week?
He does.
That seems fair
and
to
he
me.
pays half for the phone bill.
This was my brother's side. They have all these trophies and books.
What about these? Look at this. Turn round here. This is more Ryan Giggs, isn't it? which is the favourite there. Manchester Olympic. Actually, they're not too
loud, are they?
Not too loud, no. I
No.
think you've got your other ones hidden, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's it.
I think the famous jacket's in there somewhere.
Is it? Yeah, that wardrobe's worth a few bob, isn't it? Dear me, in there. Good grief. Good grief. This is all the memorabilia, I suppose.
Some of it.
This photo here, I understand, is a photo taken when he actually signed.
That's a good haircut, that is.
Yeah, changed a bit from then. And Alex Ferguson actually came to this room, is that right?
He did.
Came to this settee?
Yeah, there was my dad, myself and Ryan. And he told us that he was interested in signing Ryan. And my husband made a cup of tea and brought him a cup of tea in a Rolo mug that Ryan had probably had an Easter egg in. So I died 1,000 deaths when I saw the cup that he was giving him. And he just made a comment about it was marvellous what they put on cups these days, and drunk the tea.
What about his girlfriends, or girlfriends, or friend? And do you vet them?
Yes.
Do you? Do you?
Yes. Yeah. I don't comment until he asks. And if he asks, I tell him truthful opinion. Sometimes he likes it, sometimes he doesn't.
The good looks, the glamorous image and sheer footballing genius. George too always had obvious attractions. In his quiet moments he admits now to feeling pure excitement when he watches Ryan play. He certainly had plenty of opportunity.
I mean, I had people tell me about this lad when he was 12 and 13. Saying what a great player he was going to be. And at the time I hadn't seen him. I mean, and I've heard it so many times about young players. He was going to be great, and they just don't. But he's just not only fulfilled it, but he's getting better.
There's been so many the new George Best down the years, hasn't there? But is he the nearest?
Well, I mean, I hate all that stuff because you just can't compare. It's like comparing Stanley Matthews to Tom Finney. I mean, it's a personal opinion, but I hope he takes it as a compliment, and I certainly do. That they're saying that, because this lad, I think, has got the. I think he's the best in the world at the moment, and can only get better. He's still only 19. It's frightening when you think he's not going to hit his peak until he's 28. That's what they reckon. It's frightening what he can do.
Has it come too young for him, do you feel?
Nah, because he loves it, he enjoys it. He loved it. I mean, I had it the same when I was 17. It's amazing the similarities, because playing for our country at the same age and winning the Youth Cup at United at the same age and his first championship medal at the same age. It's amazing, the coincidence.
Do you think it weighs heavily on his shoulders, the comparisons with you?
I don't think so. No, I think a lot of times it has on players, but I don't think it bothers him one way or the other, or even phases him. I don't think he even thinks about it. He just gets on with what he's good at.
What was that quote you came out with? The one that people say that. What is it? He's not the next George Best. He's the first Ryan Giggs.
He is. I mean, what'll happen in a few years' time? The way things are going, they're going to start saying. A player will come along, they're going to start saying this is the new Ryan Giggs, because I think he'll become that great.
Do you think he'll stay at Manchester United for a while?
Well, for the sake of everybody concerned with the club, I'd hope so. And I'd certainly not want to see him go. But I think he'll make his own mind up. I mean, if I was advising somebody like Ryan, if he wanted to try take his craft somewhere else, I'd say, well, to try maybe 2 or 3 more years and just see how things are at the end of it. You never know, things change over the years. But at the moment, he's playing it on the best stage around, and they're back in Europe, so I think anybody would be silly to think leaving United at the moment. But as I say, 3 years down the road, who knows? I mean, and you think, he could actually play here for another 4 seasons, go to Italy for 3 or 4 years and still only be 27, 28.
What would you like to do in the future, football-wise? Be honest. Would you like to play abroad? Would you like to do all that?
I think I'd like to stay as long as I can at United, really, win everything you can. And also go to the World Cup with Wales. That'd be my main aims. And get as many caps for Wales as I can.
They're obviously really important to you, Wales, yeah?
Yeah, it is, especially at this time, people like Ian Rush, Mark Hughes, Neville Southall, maybe it'd be their last chance. So it'd be nice to go to the World Cup.
Would you like to go abroad? Are you the abroad type, or are you a home bird?
I'm happy at the moment at Manchester United. I think 5 or 6 years' time, maybe, but at the present moment, we're Manchester United.
Tell me this, what is it like when there's 40,000 Welshmen at Cardiff Arms Park and you're lining up for your team? What is it like? What is that feeling like?
I don't think you can match it with any other feeling, really. 40,000 Welsh people singing the national anthem, lifting you. It's you can't compare it with anything else, and it lifts the team, it lifts the crowd, and just to play for your country in the Cardiff Arms Park, with all them people watching you, just makes you so very proud, really.
And you don't know the words?
I know a bit of it. I know a bit. I hum.
Now, there's no one better to show a young man a night out in Manchester than George Best. It was his playground as a youngster, and even then he had a feeling and appreciation for the good things in life, always with that little touch of class.
Are you accustomed to this kind of comfort life?
No, this is my first time, so just enjoying it while I can.
Are you a snob?
Yeah, I am now.
He's learned very quickly to become a snob, yeah.
Where's the fine line between sort of being part of, I don't know, sort of public property and actually sort of living the image, if you like? You must have done that down the years. Lived up to your image.
Well, I think one of the problems I had, and I don't know if Ryan gets it as well, is when you go out for a quiet, private evening, most people are okay, but you only need one idiot well, there's George Best, there's Ryan Giggs, and in front of his pals or in front of his girlfriend or whatever, who wants to show that he's Jack the Lad. And I mean, a number of fights and arguments I've got into through no fault of my own. I mean, I've had my skull split by a guy who I'd never seen in my life before, just purely and simply because I happened to be there and he saw me. I mean, the guy could have killed me.
Do you go into town? Do you put yourself in that position where you could get into trouble?
No, I just stay local, really. Stay where my friends aren't people I know. You tend to, if you go to the wrong places, then, as George says, you get the odd idiot. Says, there's so and so, and they want to argue with you or fight with you or whatever.
Has that ever happened to you?
I've had a few idiots come up to me and say, all sorts like, you rubbish and you footballers, I don't know, you think you are and all that, which I think is wrong. But you've got to try and keep a cool head and just walk away.
Who's your minder on the pitch? Who looks after you?
I think Ince, he's always first there if there's trouble.
That's not just you, that's just
No, Ince looks after me on the pitch.
I mean, if somebody does have a go at you, does he actually sort of have a word or choke them off?
Yeah, he'll say, watch yourself, or, I'll have you next time if they do anything, but it doesn't normally happen, that.
What about you, George? Who looked after you, or didn't you need looking after?
Well, no, we all need looking after. Paddy was he was the same, Paddy. He was first in, and he took one. And, I mean, over the years, I became known as my minder, off the field as well.
I suppose one difference, it seems to me, that between the two of you, you say you did mix with high society, didn't you, virtually straight away? Why? Were you comfortable with those kind of people? Did you enjoy the glamour, or were they just happy to be with you?
It just happened. I love all sportsmen, and I suppose the one that really it was a pleasure to meet, one athlete that I was fortunate enough to meet a couple of times was Muhammad Ali. Cassius Clay when I met him, and he was just such a fascinating character. But just to be able to meet people like that and be in the same room as him was a pleasure. No, the biggest compliment was that he knew me.
Really?
Which was nice. So, I mean, I just met him briefly and said hello to him, and you say all stupid things, but you know how much you admire him, because this man was a genius. He really was at what he did. So.
What about you, Ryan? Who have you met that you thought, my word, what am I doing next year?
George. Heroes that I've had, that I've seen on television, and I've been fortunate to meet people like Bobby Charlton and all the old 68 team. Also managed to meet Nelson Mandela, which is quite special because, he's one of the most famous people in the world. And when we went to South Africa, I managed to meet him, so that was quite a thrill.
Had he heard of you?
He said he had. I don't know if I think he was lying. He said he had though.
He's actually quite a football fan, isn't he?
Yeah.
That must have been some experience.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I was gobsmacked.
Did you have a fan club?
Yes, I got to a stage. I mean, it was phenomenal. My agent in those days was also Dennis Law's agent, Ken Stanley, a lovely man. He worked from Huddersfield, and we were getting. He had to employ, I think, 3 girls full time just to do the mail. I was getting 20,000 letters a week. And it was just phenomenal.
There's going to be a bit of jealousy here. How many do you get?
Divided by 20.
That's because the cost of paper's going up. That's why. Stamps. 20,000 a week.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it was just phenomenal.
What kind of things do yours say, apart from autographs? Any juicy ones?
No, I had my first bit of underwear last week in a parcel, which I was quite surprised.
From a bloke.
Which was quite embarrassing, but it was nice.
Tasteful?
Yeah, they were alright. But it's been 20 different things now, right?
Yeah, well, the shops were here. I had the menswear, and my best pal had the hairdressers in the corner. So, and our favourite club was downstairs here.
Yeah.
So we had everything in the same area.
There's still a hairdresser's here, I think, around the corner.
Yeah, I think I think one of the lads still works there. He used to work when I was here. But this we ended up having the whole length of it. You'd have loved it because there were so many shops for clothes. All in those days, boutiques they call them, but and some great, well, we thought it was great gear in those days. And then they had a little club down here, which was owned by the Demis, who were the big bookmakers here.
Right.
A place called Blinkers. And that was another one of our little hideouts, little private clubs. So it was nice. We didn't get any aggravation. But this area in those days was buzzing. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
I came back here once. I was in Spain on holiday, and I came back, and a newspaper reporter came into the hairdressers while I was in there.
Yeah.
And he said, "Where have you been?" I said, "I've been in Spain." I said, "I've just come back," and I was leaving the next day. I was going back the next day because I just hadn't had enough time. I wanted another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "Well, what have you come back for?" I said, "Well, a haircut, of course." And the next day, George Best flies in for a haircut. That was it. Another part of the myth that is a load of rubbish. Right, you want to go down and see our famous pub?
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, I don't know what it's like today, but it was such a dive. But the crowd that went in there, and then the boss, the guy that ran it, was an American. And poor old Sir Matt in those days, he used to, because Manchester was like a village, and everybody knew everybody else's business. And every so often the boss would get us in his office, and he couldn't get the name of this place right. He called it the Black Cow, the Black Bull, the Pink Parrot. It's called the Brown Bull, but this is where we used to, after games, all the boys used to go there and have a nice steak and a few drinks. It's fabulous. I don't know what it's like now, we soon find out. Hi, all right? How are you? Good, very good, thanks. What's changed a bit? How are you? All right? Yeah. Pool? When I used to come here, they didn't have pool, so I think you've probably been in here before, haven't you?
No,
tried the table out. No. I've heard you're a hustler anyway.
Someone pass me my cue.
Look, there's 2 superstars. We don't have a quid between us. Gotta nick the balls. Right. Giggsy, you might as well sit down.
You've got a seat.
I think he's got a table at home. rusty enough. We're level.
The competitive instinct will never die, a Giggs and Best trademark. These two men are just in love with football. To them, it's much more than a game. It really is an art form.
Is this the best goal you ever scored?
Yeah, it was again. I was playing for San Jose, which was my last team in America. The opposition were the team that had traded me to San Jose, Fort Lauderdale, and we'd been given a free kick, and I'd said to the lad, "Just knock it to me," and I just made my mind up. I was going to have a go for it.
Is that natural? Are you aware of what you're doing, or is it a case of I'm just going to go for goal?
Yeah, it's a bit like, I mean, here I've decided I'm going to score. I mean, it doesn't guarantee you're going to.
What's the best goal you've scored?
One against Blackburn. The night we won the league last year, purely because of the occasion, and I don't think I've ever experienced a night like that again. And we were 1-0 down, and the crowd were a bit low, so I got back to the feet again.
Giggs gives a goal worthy of the occasion. It's 1-1.
Well, they're all looking at Dennis Irwin. Up steps Ryan Giggs, and look at that for precision. He's got bend on it, enough bend, but it's the accuracy you have to admire. They don't come any better than that, they really don't. Magnificent free kick.
You say you've got no regrets, and you fitted about 6 lives into one life in a way. Would you say not do the same to Ryan, or don't do the same to Ryan, or stay clear, or what would you say to him? I know you say you don't give advice, but what would you say to him?
There's no advice. I said it before. I wouldn't give you. Just enjoy what you're doing, and that's it. As long as I think you can do both. I think you can live hard and play hard, but as long as you're enjoying doing both. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I made more mistakes than anybody, but the whole thing is it's football. That's the bottom line. No matter how you look at it, the football. As long as the football's there and going well, you don't have to worry about anything else. It's great.
What happened to George probably couldn't happen to you now, because it isn't the swinging 60s and what have you. But do people say, "Oh, look what happened to George Best," or "Don't be like George Best"? Do they say that to you? Are you aware of that?
Because of the comparisons on the playing side, the bound to like make comparisons off the field. But as George says, the boss has done brilliant looking after me, and I think he's going to take good care of me. And I've got people who can give me advice, whereas George just mentioned that he didn't really have anyone to advise him. So I don't think I need to worry really.
Would you like to live George Best's lifestyle? The lifestyle he led when he was 19?
Well, I wouldn't mind being half the player he was for a start. I would be a start.
Oh, and it's Giggs!
George Best sold 2 dummies and now has made a chance for himself. His hat-trick!
Mark Hughes, Giggs to his right, good ball. Giggs versus Boynton. Ryan Giggs! What a special goal that is!
Making space for his cross, and Best!
Neil Webb. McClare's there, so too's Robson. It's Giggs! That could be the one! But O'Neill to George Best again. Getting past Robson. Still with Best. Letting one go, and a goal!